And welcome, Linda.
Thanks, Finn. Thanks very much for inviting us on, the three of us, and I've thoroughly enjoyed what I've heard so far. It's been really glorious. So, this first poem I'm going to do from the She's Some Woman Testaments is has to be done now. I think I began writing in May of this year. I was very appreciative of Greta Thunberg as a young climate activist. And then in June, as I was doing the final edit, it was a Sunday evening as well in June, and I had to change it. But on a Sunday again, and I think the same feeling is rising in everyone. And this is called Already Fading. Where are you now, Greta? Where are you? Already fading. A young climate activist, outraged and demanding a future world to live in. That statue in Winchester Square captures delicate eyes, fearsome in their determination to restore respect to this earth that is quietly provided. Ridiculed in the press, torn apart by climate deniers, and those who revel in growth, stockpiling stuff, while the ground all around is drowning and burning. This earth can take no more. But your disappearing began when you spoke on political ecology, when you traced the rate of countries living simple lives to the warring occupation for profit, oil, or tourism. Ravished land masses for the recreation of the rich. You called them out. You called them out. Morocco, Israel, and the arrests began. The rubbing out intensified as ecocide grew. They needed you off the radar. Colonialism, big corporations rule out a fair right to breath, to bread, and to life for thousands. But you called them out, Greta. You've called them out from Glasgow to Gaza, screaming the heart groaning warning at the centre of our nature's soul. But just there, as I write this final edit, you sail back, you sail onto our screens, travelling through those treacherous waves in a humanitarian flotilla heading towards Palestine. Respect, girl, respect. But where are you, Greta? Thank you. Thank you very much. The next poem I would like to do, some of the poems looked at women that you maybe not know too much about, and others were women that maybe impressed us throughout our life. I was very impressed by Rossetti's poetry and paintings. I was quite into the Pre-Raphaelites for a long time, and Margaret MacDonald, who was the wife of Mackintosh. I went to see Margaret MacDonald's work in the 80s and then again not that long ago, and I've been ever impressed by her. This is called The Rose in the Mac Crown. First struck by those Jacobite names, Mackintosh, MacDonald, melting metals into rose and circle. You, Margaret, were the source, the genius, so he said. And he was right. The source, the well of fruits to free those Glasgow style modernist designs, magnificent, and drawing world attention to him. But the seven princesses danced to your call, trailing veils and vines, wrapping round long nights in Vienna, feminine, fragile, geometry and nature. Your greatest gesso, they said. But for me, O ye that walk in Willowwood, through a tenement bedroom, printed silk scarf, draped from a hanger like a pre-Raphaelite shoulder, is this image, this lifelong night falling, that delivers la morte parfumée of your red and your bleeding petals. Thank you. I'd like now to do the next one is the women who inspired the collection. This is the book, beautiful, beautiful book. And I just love the cover. And I hope you can see it there. And the woman who inspired the collection is a woman called Jenny Matthews. If you don't know her, look her up. I was ashamed that I didn't know too much about her. And I went to see an exhibition in a gallery in Glasgow, which is called Swing Conflict. For 50 years almost, she's travelled to warring places to document how these present to women and what they do to women. Look her up, Jenny Matthews. This is War Correspondent and the Women. The war correspondent grapples with landscapes, watches, tries to capture the moment of resistance and that futility of death. 50 years finding herself in war zones to document events, the nothingness and waiting, the wondering of women and children before noticing that their resilience seemed boundless. Rwanda, making grass into soup with dust in their mouths. Afghanistan, the golden needle facade to study poetry. Nicaragua, behind rock faces evading the Contras. And Gaza, where they continue to walk through ruins. Jenny Matthews keeps going to and through women's lives in war. For decades, trailing bags and Nikon parts and clothes, she travels light but heavy in her quest to expose conditions, restrictions, and the everyday for women locked in theatres of conflict. Theatres of conflict, that terminology is disgusting. The language use is abortive. There is no stage, there's no acting. She photographs the parts that they must play to keep their families and their hopes alive. And she's so amazed at how they work. Strengthened backbones straighten up. They go forward into the smoke, ploughing barren, blood-soaked soil. Jenny, really upon real. The film is captured and it must make it home. Show the world the wonders of these women, like her, who keep functioning, unstoppable amidst the relentless appropriation of territory by powers they don't know but sense are weak with greed. Her lens aims into the circle of fire. She feels the end of semantics. Her camera within the chaos recognizes the rush of female instinct to protect and to nurture a future. Thank you for listening. And one more I think I'd like to do, and I'd like to do that because this Canadian-American ensemble we have here, the biggest influences in my life growing up with my mother, obviously, and my aunt, my beloved Aunt Ellen, and Joni Mitchell. So my whole life I was asthmatic, TB, all that kind of problems with my lungs. So I was just always sitting in a room playing Joni Mitchell. And then I actually saw her when I was 14 in Wembley. It was wonderful. I saw her with Neil Young. She brought Neil Young. My mother thought I was staying the night with a friend in Barhead. And I had hitchhiked with some guys I knew and some girls in bands and went to London to see her. It was wonderful. Anyway, this is called Musical Tattoos. Childhood, secluded spaces, ill health, difference, maybe that's the seeds of creation. Loneliness, insular voices waver on a discordant verse. And you were in Saskatchewan, sweeping the canvas with brushes, singing painted colours and places more blue. A split path took you to vocal acrobatics, chords that no one had heard, guitar shapes steering the long-haired 70s, the Malibu crowd mesmerised by your poetic trances, lyrical romance entwined with your inner selves, negotiating the landscape of that male-dominated platform of cool. Child loss, childless, the little green patched, with heartbreak and deliberation on potential, hers and yours. But the winters did not fade her, and you found her after 20 years to sing love, smiling like no one had seen, smiling to the moon, in cancer, and she answered you, swept you off your feet. Joni, the grandmother, running with Marlon. Lovers, many. A few eclipsing the heart, a while, spiralling into indigo shades over piano keys. But from those court and spark ways, you moved like Mercury to the mathematics of jazz. Now you're back to painting on larger-than-life walls, and you watch others sing your songs to packed audiences whose lives are mapped and threaded by your words. Sometimes you join them, celebrated in that queen's chair, and the heart only whispers lightly in your ears of those permanent tattoos. Thank you for listening.